What's up, YouTube? It's the PORTUGEEPREPPER. Today I'm going to be going over some tips for any newbies getting pigs, like myself was in the beginning of this year. So stay tuned for everything you're going to need to know. So first off, this video is meant for the average Joe that's going to be just raising hogs. I'm not talking about to you pig farmers that have been raising pigs for all your lives. I'm not here to teach you guys anything. This is some things that I picked up along the way to help any newbies try to get by. Just try to watch one video so you don't have to be doing research on 20 different channels and looking up stuff on the internet. So stay tuned. Biggest thing, number one, you can't get too attached, because either you're going to be processing them or you're going to have to take them to the butcher. So you're going to have to live with that one way or another. So that's going to be the first thing. If you can't get over that, this is not for you. Also, if you're going to be buying your pigs and picking them up yourselves, you're going to also have to think about how you're going to get them home. Either a large dog crate, because usually around 30 pounds or so when you get them, around anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. Both of mine fit in a dog crate. It's just the ride home. I only spent like 20 minutes in there, so that's not a really big deal at all. Alright, and then it's going to go to, are you going to be processing it yourself, or are you going to be taking it to the butcher? What are butcher costs? What does it cost to process your hams and your bacon? All things to consider on pricing. I'm not really sure what it ends up being. I'm going to be doing processing myself for the first time. So it'll have to be researched on your own to your area. If you'll be processing the animals yourself, do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the equipment? You're going to need a hoist or gambrel system with a winch to hoist them up. You're going to need a meat saw, a grinder, smokehouse if you're going to be smoking any bacon and hams. Either you could use a front end loader too as well if you have a tractor instead of having a winch. Well, those are all things to consider, so think about those. If you're going to be taking it to the butcher, do you have a trailer, a livestock trailer? Do you have means to be transporting a 300-pound animal or two to the butcher? What to expect back from your butcher or harvesting yourself? 250-pound pig to 300-pound pig you'll roughly get back around 60 to 65% of the live weight. So it means a 300-pound pig will give you about 180, 190 pounds of meat. You might get also, I don't know if that's going to be really including, and you can still have the bones, which you can make bone broth with. You can have the leaf lard, which is wrapped around like the kidneys and stuff. You can render the leaf fat down to lard and use that for bacon and stuff like that. They say it's really good for pastry making and stuff like that. Another thing that people overlook, freezer space. Do you have enough space for 200 pounds of pork? Good thing to think about. I didn't really think about it in the beginning. Make sure you get the right type of pig. You don't want somebody selling you just any old pig and you end up coming home with a little pot-bellied pig or a little guinea hog or something like that. You want to make sure you can be getting feeder pigs. Also, if you're going to be getting heritage breeds, you're going to be paying for that. I had a guy next to me that was selling Mangalisas. He wanted like $200 a piglet. Not really worth it if you're going to be raising him for a slaughter weight in 6 months. I picked up mine. I think I paid about $80, and that was a little high because I got him last minute. If I go to the auction, I can get him around $50 around here. So all things to consider when you guys pick out your pig. You're going to be raising them for about anywhere from 5 to 6 months, depending on the breed that you get. I had mine in July 1st. I'll be processing mine December 2nd. So that's about 5 months. And they were about probably 8 weeks old when I got them. So things to think about. But average people around here are around 5-6 months. So feeder pigs usually are raised 5 to 6 months to get to slaughter weight, which is roughly usually around anywhere from 225 to 300 pounds is what they'll get. You'll always have a dominant pig out of the two, so anticipate that. One will always be bigger than the other one. I have two females and one's still the boss. The other one fights back when she has to, but pretty much there's a boss one. What gender of pig would you like, male or female? I would suggest female, or you need to get castrated males, because if they're not castrated, once they get of breeding age, they'll form testosterone, and it kind of taints the meat. It gives it an odor. I don't think it changes the taste much, but the odor, I think, of the meat, kind of like having like a feral hog that you shoot out in the woods. Some people complain about the smell. So things to consider with that. If you're not really sure if it's castrated or not, better off just getting females if you can. Alright, another thing, where you're going to be finding your pigs. Local farm, Craigslist, sometimes you can find them on there. We have livestock auctions in my area, about 20 minutes away from me. And usually when you go to a livestock auction, you can kind of check them out beforehand. Make sure you just check them out, make sure the color looks good. Pink gums, they don't have any wet, really drooling mouths and noses, stuff like that. Make sure they don't have a hernia. One of the pigs that were brought to me the first time actually had a hernia. I actually thought it was a male. I thought it was his private, but it was not. It was a hernia. Good thing I overlooked him, and then the guy gratefully took him back and brought me another one. Also, healthy behavior, it would be if you go to a farm and you see them in the field, you want to see them rooting. That's a sign of a healthy pig as well, because they're looking for mineral and stuff like that, and that's the reason why they root. As well as make sure if you can see that they don't have there's no coughing, because they can have what they call lungworm. If they have like a parasite in their intestinal thing, not the end of the world. You can worm them when you get them, which is what I did. I wormed them twice over the course of the first 2 months, and then I haven't wormed them since. And then make sure they have no diarrhea and stuff like that, because it's probably a sign of a parasite. When you worm them, I used a chemical wormer. It wasn't really one of the strong ones. It's kind of a generic one that was instructed to me by my local co-op. After that, every month or so, I threw about a pound of DE in the 50-pound feed. So probably a little bit less, probably like half pound. So helped with the continuous treatment of any internal parasites. And they've been pretty much healthy so far, and I'll be processing them in about 2 weeks. This is what I used for my deworming when I first got them. Those are the main ingredients right there. And this does treat against lungworm as well. I'll actually show you the back of the bag. That's basically how it works. And then it treats this stuff right here. So if you guys want to pause it and take a look. But yep, so it's called Durafend. I paid $8 where I get my feed from. So that's that. Pigs love pumpkin. And if you guys didn't know that pumpkin and the seeds are a natural dewormer for the pigs. So if you have surplus of pumpkins, they love it. Alright, let's talk about the structures for the pigs, what they're going to need to be contained. You should be building this out of hog panel. Make sure you're not getting cattle panel, because when they're piglets, they'll escape out of the cattle panel holes. Make sure this is sturdy. You're going to be having 200-300 pound animals scratch themselves on your fence. You don't want the fence to snap or fall over. I ran a hot wire inside of my fence to help them avoid from scratching against the fence. They scratch themselves against the feeder and the hog house, stuff like that. They try using the water, they'll scratch themselves on anything. So all things to consider. I'm going to turn this camera around and I'll show you guys what my pen looks like. This is my pen right here. It's hog panel. See how the holes get smaller at the bottom? Those are all things to consider right there. I use T-posts pretty much every 4 feet or so. Some spots a little closer, some spots not, depending on how deep I could get the post. This is their house to keep them out of the sun. They need to be kept especially during the summertime. They need to be out of the sun because they can sunburn just like you. They have the same type of skin as you. And then here is how I ran the hot wire. Those are 6-inch insulators. It just runs off the T-post. I would suggest putting them a little bit higher, because basically all the buildup I've had, basically this wire is about 2 inches off the ground now. So I have to, once in a while I'll have to rake it off. As you can tell, they made a little wallow hole over there, and it's actually covering the wire, which is grounding out the fence. So I'm going to have to rake that back. This is my electric fence. It's pretty much one of the cheapest ones on Amazon. I think it's rated like 4 stars on ridiculous amount of reviews. This one does not tick. This is a continuous shock. This one, if you touch it, you're going to continuously get shocked until you let go. There's about 10 acres of fence, and I think it was around $40 or so, 30-40 bucks. If I remember, I'll try to put a link below. They say they're waterproof, but I just stick an upside down bucket right over the top of the T-post that I have it mounted to. Alright, let's talk about feed. For the first month, you're going to want to give them a starter feed or so. I did about a month. I got like, I think 3 bags, which lasted me about a month or so. and that's about an 18 to 20% protein. It's got a high protein and stuff like that. I don't know if the mineral changes or anything like that, but you want to start them on that just to start them off on the right foot. After that, I went down to either between a 14 or a 16% protein. It's just a grow a hog feed. I got it actually at a mill that mills up their own stuff, made it a little bit cheaper for me, and I bought it. And then things to consider too is if you buy in ton, you can get ton price, which usually knocks off a couple bucks off each bag. And just so you know as well, usually the starter feed is a crumble feed, and then the grower adult feed ends up being a pelleted feed. And then you'd like to, if you consider organic non-GMO to regular stuff, just regular generic GMO feed, it's probably almost double the price. Some places might even be more than double. So whatever you think you're going to raise to have your pigs, it's going to be double to do them organic. Just things to think about. Regular generic GMO feed here is, if you buy in ton, is around $10 to $12 a bag. And if you do non-GMO organic, you're going for anywhere from about $20 to $25 a bag. So think about that when you do your pricing. And then how much are they going to eat? I got 2 females. We're about at 4.5 months right now, and they've gone through about 32 bags. Figure about a ton of feed to get you to slaughter weight for 2 pigs. So about 20 bags a pig. So half a ton of feed per pig, which ends up being around, I think for me it was around like 250 bucks. So just so you guys have a ballpark. As for pig feeders, I would recommend building or buying an automatic feeder, because if you use a trough, there's going to be a lot of waste. They're going to step in it. They're going to have muddy feet or muddy hoofs. They're going to step in it and they're going to ruin a lot of your feed. They like to tip stuff over, so they're going to be tipping it over as well. So I would build a feeder or buy one. If you guys want to see how I built mine, check it up. I'll try to put it up in the link below. But here's a picture of mine. Has a lid they lift up by themselves, and it has a waterproof lid. So go to one of my other videos and shows you how to build one, start to finish, give you measurements and everything. Waterers, they're going to need water 24/7. I recommend an automatic waterer like this with the nipples on the front, because bulls, they'll tip over and make a wallow in like 10 seconds. So don't even bother with a bull, because they're going to tip it over unless it's out of concrete and they can't flip it. Also, the week when I brought them home, I also picked up a vitamin electrolyte pack. This whole package I think was £1, and it does about 55-gallon drum of water. Ingredient list of the mineral. I also have a video on how to build the pig water. I'll try to link that above, so check that out. Also, a few things to consider. If you're going to be raising your pigs into the winter months at all, I'm going to be going to December 2nd. We actually had a hard freeze yesterday. It was down to the 20s. You're going to need a way to keep their water from freezing. So you're going to have to get like one of those submersible heaters, which I don't have a second one. I have one in my chicken coop right now. So I'm going to pick up a second one maybe tomorrow at the feed store, or just order it on Amazon. And you want to be able to have that so they always have access to water. So consider that if you're going to be raising them into freezing temperatures. They're going to need some kind of a shelter. I kind of mentioned that before. This has to be 3 walls and a roof. If you can go as cheap as 3 pallets in a U shape, nailed together with a piece of tin on the roof with a couple of 2x4s just to support the weight. That's pretty much all you really need. Mine is a little bit fancier. I actually wanted to put sides on mine. I never ended up doing it. I got kind of lazy. Kind of keeps the wind off them when it starts getting cold. I don't overwinter them, so I wasn't too concerned about the sides. So, in conclusion now, I hope this was helpful to all the newbies out there and first-time hoggers raising pigs for slaughter. This was my first year as well. This was all the stuff that I ran into and had to deal with before getting them. So I hope this works for you guys. So you guys stay tuned for the next one. And please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I'm going to be doing another video pretty soon on, I'm doing a 1,000 sub giveaway. We're going to be doing end-grain cutting boards. I'm going to be doing the builds on how to make one, and then I'm going to auction that off to, well, not really auction, I'm going to be doing that a giveaway for 1,000 subs. So stay tuned for that one.